Yeah. Hey Alok, congratulations on the 730. How does it feel after all of the toil, 8 months of it?
It feels it feels okay.
It
I
feels okay
I
after
wish
all
it
of that.
I I wish it could feel better, but it
Hmm.
is what it is so far.
Yeah, that's that. I think it's that there's that numbness, that I've done so much that it just feels like it's okay now. It's just a score. But you're feeling this way because you have that score. How did you feel
Yes.
when you had a score of 710 like 2 weeks back?
So 710 was almost a month back now. So
Hmm.
that day I felt that more than anything else, I felt I let you down more than I let me down.
Hmm.
I thought I let everyone else down who were part of this journey along with me, who were supporting me in
Hmm.
whatever form they did. I
Hmm.
thought I let everyone down.
Hmm.
Even though, as you know, even through my emails, you pretty much know that I'm very hard on myself.
Hmm.
So I still think I've not let everyone be super proud, but I think people
Middle
are
proud, like
satisfied.
middle proud. ठीक है. I think that's fair. That's okay. And there was a very interesting thing that I think you gave your exam again after the 710 and again got a 710. And
Yes,
there was a very interesting thing that I said that do you have any fuel left in the tank? What were your
yes. And
feelings around that time?
oh, you won't believe. So that day when you said, I was like, what is wrong with DJ? Honestly, I'm not even mincing my words. I was like, what is wrong with him? I know I got a 710 a second time, but I was like, I improved my verbal.
Hmm.
From I think in the first one I got V36, and
Hmm.
in the second one I got V38, but I screwed up in font, so my score
Hmm.
didn't change.
Hmm.
So I was like, why is he asking me this? I understood, but I was like, yes, maybe he's losing faith in me. But I was like, it is okay if he's asking me this. It means that I need to reassure myself, and I took it in a positive way. I was like, okay,
Hmm.
I need to. Actually, even before I took the first GMAT official exam,
Hmm.
I had told myself that even if it takes me 5 attempts, I will take 5 attempts. Even
Hmm.
if I would have scored 713 the first attempt, I would have taken all 5 attempts. I had
Hmm.
mentally prepared myself because so I come from a very orthodox mindset in the sense that why I call it orthodox is I come from so I took my first CAT exam in 2003
Okay.
when I was in my engineering in Bombay.
Hmm.
At that time, so the way CAT, at least back then, it was structured. You take it once, if you screw it, you're done for the year.
Hmm.
So I come from that mindset that if you screw up on an exam once, you're done.
Hmm.
It is what it is. But the way you, Rajat, all of you guys have had these kind of success story videos,
Hmm.
you won't believe. I must have watched pretty much 50% of even your historical videos, not just the recent ones. Recent ones are ever since I joined e-GMAT, I saw everything. But
Hmm.
historical ones also I've seen a lot. And watching them made me realize that I can take and I should take more attempts if they are needed.
Hmm.
So mentally, I prepared myself that even if it takes 5 attempts, we'll take 5 attempts.
Yeah, you must have imagined that this dude is crazy. Like, I literally just scored 710 twice. Why is he saying that, give it again? But, here's the thing with most of the students that I work with, and it's something very interesting. You may fail once, happens.
Yes, yes,
You may even fail twice because your quant scores may go up and verbal scores may come down, or the other way around.
yeah.
But you'll not fail a third time, usually.
Well, I
But
did.
yeah, I
If you
mean,
look at,
in your
I
case,
did.
you did. But then the idea is to ultimately succeed, and I think that's
Yeah,
something that's consistent across the board. Talking about
yeah. So
ultimately succeeding
yeah, so
per
the
se.
way you guys have normalized taking it multiple times, I
Hmm.
think it has really helped someone like me who could have never thought about it.
Hmm. Who,
Honestly,
f- who feels that
I
one
would,
attempt and done?
yeah, I would have been like, oh, this is me and this is what I deserve.
Hmm.
But the way you guys have normalized it, which is very good actually, because all these admission committees at various universities, they also look at your best score,
Yeah.
which is what
And
I figured out.
they look at the amount of effort that has gone into getting
Yes,
that score. And a lot of
yes,
people don't
yes,
understand that, canceling those scores doesn't make sense because it shows improvement. It shows toil and
correct.
effort. Cool. Let's talk about toil and effort now. The amount of toil and effort that you've put into the course is phenomenal. I mean, you have literally followed every single thing to the T. And when I say every single thing, I mean the three stages of learning. You'll probably be able to teach me the three stages of learning. Why don't you talk a little bit about the pros and cons of this entire approach?
So, especially for someone like me who's not been studying for the last almost, I would think, 16 years now,
Hmm.
almost, actually, no, 14 years.
Hmm.
So, the last time I actually did any formal studying was 14 years back when I did my master's from University of Southern California.
Hmm.
After that, I had lost touch with studying. I was
Hmm.
working, and as part of work, you continually improve your skill set, but that's not studying.
True.
It's not exactly study. So before joining e-GMAT, I had also joined Princeton Review,
Hmm.
and I had joined the instructor-led class. I, I, I think 2 or 3 months into the course, I was feeling that there was still something missing. And
Hmm.
at Princeton, also, I was scoring 680, 690 in my initial practice tests.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's not getting to 700. Plus, I was not confident also.
Hmm.
Even though I was scoring 680, 690, I was not confident. I was not like, I know the basics and I can get it done.
Hmm.
Even 680, 690 felt like I was getting lucky.
Hmm.
And I was looking for something more concrete, which will make me understand more basics. I didn't get a lot of basics from Princeton, to be honest.
Hmm.
I don't know if I should call out their name, but it is what it
Hmm.
is. So I was looking for something different. And at that time in India, um, I just happened to talk to my dad, and I was like, "Can you please find out some classes in India?" Because I had taken CAT in 2003.
Hmm.
I was very close to getting into somehow I screwed up my complete thing at that time.
Hmm.
So I and during that IIM preparation, I joined Career Launcher at the time,
Hmm.
and they had a phenomenal course. Their
Hmm.
instructors were super amazing. They taught us very well and everything.
For
So
cat,
I
you're saying?
knew for CAT, yes, in
Hmm.
2003. So at that time, I from that experience, I knew how much in depth we need to go in
Hmm.
terms of preparation and to be confident in the exam, so that we are confident in the exam.
Yeah.
So I asked my dad to find out if there are some nice classes in India
Hmm.
who I can do online. And plus, this whole online thing is making it more comfortable, right? You can
Yeah.
you can join anyone in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he found out, but I think he just found out on Google, or maybe I think in India there are also some services where you can just dial kind of things.
Hmm.
I don't know where he found out, but he eventually gave e-GMAT sales team my contact information.
Hmm.
And then I was constantly getting emails from emails kind of thing from notifying me of Rajat's session and all of that.
Hmm.
So after a few emails that I ignored, then I was like, okay, man, let's join Rajat's session. He was promising things that I wanted someone to promise. So I
Hmm.
was like, okay, let's join and let's see what happens.
Hmm.
And that was, I think, the sentence correction and RC kind
Yeah.
of a session. And some of the questions that he went over, and the RC especially,
Hmm.
I was like, I have not done RC that way. In fact, until I joined e-GMAT, I had not even prepared RC
Hmm.
because I was so low in confidence. I was like, I'll screw up RC. RC, I had let it till I was like, let's not even worry about it. Let's only focus on the things that I think I can get good at.
Hmm.
So that session actually changed it for me that day, and I was like, the then I signed up for your free evaluation
Hmm.
uh, few days, and in that I went through master comprehension course, and that was a killer. Literally, I mean, being very honest, it was a killer. It actually told me how to pause, when to actually stop yourself, summarize. Otherwise, the way I was going about things was I was just trying to read it quickly
Hmm.
or go too slow in trying to get into the details of things,
Hmm.
but not really getting the big picture. Because a lot of other classes, or at least the one that I joined,
Hmm.
they were like, in every paragraph, understand make sure you know what the first sentence is,
Yeah.
or find a sentence that is the heart of that paragraph. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I used to struggle finding that one sentence. I was like, I'm not getting it. But that master comprehension course actually helped me a lot. It taught me how to read even sentence correction things.
It's like the
Actually,
gateway
no,
to the entire course. The
even
SC.
quant. I would
Yeah.
even go to the extent of quant, that because in quant also, even though I'm good at quant, I was just doing it inherently, as if
Hmm.
it's in my DNA to stop in quant. But no one ever told me that this is what you're doing in quant, and
Hmm.
this is what you need to do similarly in verbal section.
Hmm.
So that really changed. And then it was a no-brainer. And then I was like, I went over some sentence correction modules
Hmm.
before actually signing up.
Hmm.
And those sentence correction modules literally blew me up. Until then, uh, at Princeton, my teacher, it was an instructor-led course. So
Hmm.
he went over all of these 8 or 9 big errors that we see in sentence correction.
Hmm.
And there was one class in which he spent like 15 minutes talking about participle phrases, which are your verb, ed, verb, ing modifiers.
Hmm.
At the end of that class, I didn't understand what the hell am I even doing.
Hmm.
What? Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So at the end of that class, I didn't even know
Hmm.
what exactly is a verb ed modifier. How does all those rules and whatnot? I didn't understand the basics of it.
Hmm.
So I'm in the practice quizzes. It was very obvious to me. But then when I watched the module of sentence correction,
Hmm.
and I started, I think, with modifier, it literally blew me. I was like, this is exactly what I think my teachers at Career Launcher back in 2003 had taught us, or
Hmm.
similarly. And
Hmm.
I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. And then it was a no brainer, even though I'd spent a lot of money with Princeton, but I was like, I cannot take that chance.
Hmm.
So I immediately signed up, and then I followed everything literally. So basically, the way I went about it is I still consider e-GMAT question like more Bible than actual official questions,
Hmm.
because because the fact that there is a lot of explanation going on, and plus whenever I take even a single quiz
Hmm.
like practice quiz, or I just solve a couple of questions here and there,
Hmm.
I'm always like, there is probably DJ sitting there snooping on me, and he knows this guy is
I do
screwing
that,
up on me.
by the way. I really do
Yeah,
that.
I was pretty sure. So I was like, maybe he's watching, and just to make sure that I can have someone to keep trusting me, I was always taking every quiz very seriously.
Hmm.
And then the way Payal explained in all those modules,
Hmm.
I must have gone through those modules, I think, twice or thrice, all of them
Hmm.
in verbal.
Hmm.
And then plus in all of these questions, once you solve, take quizzes, and then I actually went over all the solutions that I think after joining e-GMAT is when I figured out, even if I'm getting a question right, I still need to go and read the explanation. Until then, no one even told me that.
The
I
strategic
used to
review
get
bit,
right.
basically.
Yeah, no one told me. Honestly, no one told me, and I was like, okay, if I got it right, I got it right. But
Hmm.
when I started reading the explanation, even for the questions that I got right,
Hmm.
is when I really figured out, okay, there were reasons I got it right, but there were a lot of reasons that I was missing, and I was not paying attention to those kind of things, especially in sentence correction,
Hmm.
as well as in RC actually. CR, I'm still struggling, as you know, but
Got it. Got it. So I think let's talk a little bit about a few things that you mentioned. Master comprehension being the gateway to pretty much everything on the course, and how to read a sentence on the GMAT, for example. And with sentence correction, you probably learned about essentially how to use a meaning based approach, right? So tell
yeah.
me a little bit about the meaning based approach, because there's something very different and not it's not taught all around. Does it work? Does it not work? You've taken the GMAT enough number of times to know that, right?
So I'll tell you, meaning based approach, it really helped me a lot, especially in higher difficulty questions, plus my confidence.
Hmm.
And the thing with confidence is you either have it or you don't have it.
Hmm.
There's no middle ground about it. So the thing with, in fact, sentence correction, I don't even look at a. I think sentence correction is my strongest area in entire verbal section of the three sections.
Hmm.
So I think without meaning based, there's no way I could get anything close to even 10% questions correct. The 700 plus
True.
level questions that we call.
True.
There's no way. There's no way. Plus, no one actually. So I joined not just Princeton, I also joined IMS in India.
Hmm.
Just around the time when I joined e-GMAT, I was like, let's join in IMS also, because back in 2009, I had
Hmm.
taken GMAT once,
Hmm.
and I ended up scoring a 700 back then.
Hmm.
And that time, because I had prepared for CAT around that time frame, so I was pretty, my entire knowledge was pretty fresh. And I just joined IMS at the time to
Hmm.
get their books for practice.
Hmm.
So I joined IMS just for backup, just so that I have enough questions so that I can
Hmm.
practice. But this meaning based thing, no one told me. Uh, in Princeton, in fact, when I enrolled, the particular program in which I enrolled, you also get 4 hour of tutor time, private
Okay.
tutor.
Okay.
In that, I told my tutor that I'm struggling, and this is where these are the kind of questions I'm struggling. And he was like, "Yeah, just keep on practicing. The more you practice, the more you'll figure out." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm practicing." And I had come to a point where I was practicing, but the problem was I was doing the OG questions over and over again, and by then I knew the answers in my head.
True. True.
So then I was like, it's not helping me, and no one
Hmm.
told me the meaning based until you guys actually
Got it.
drilled it down.
Let's talk a little bit about RC also because you mentioned you completely forgot about RC for a long time. What were your
Yeah.
main takeaways from the RC course as well?
So RC, the biggest thing that helped me was to not worry about the specific details in a
Hmm.
passage, which is
Hmm.
what I do all the time in RCs. I
Hmm.
think RC is my
A lot
second
of
best.
people do. A lot of people do.
Yeah, so I used to spend a lot of time trying to understand the specific details.
Hmm.
Plus, I am not a good reader. I've never read in my life.
Hmm.
So what the problem I used to have with RC was I used to start, and then all those humanities or social sciences kind of passages, I would just wander off. My mind would just wander off thinking, oh man, I'm not understanding. And my eyes would go
Hmm.
over the words, but I was not really comprehending anything. I was just
Hmm.
reading it for the sake of reading. And then obviously I would screw up in the questions.
Hmm.
So when I watched Payal's explanation, and then I watched all these modules on RC, that's when I figured out, okay, there is a specific way to handle it and at least improve than where I was.
Yeah.
So, so initially, what I started doing was every passage I started making notes. That's the
Hmm.
first time ever in my life, even from the days when I took CAT in
Hmm.
2003. Since this was the first time someone actually told me you need to make notes. If you're not, it'll help you engage more in the
Yeah.
passage. And that engagement is the first thing I understood, that I have to get to that point where I'm engaged
Hmm.
in the passage. So I started making notes. But one thing that I again screwed up in RC during the mock test that I used to take,
Hmm.
I was making notes. So if you remember during my Sigma X mocks, I think second and third one, you were like, dude, you're taking too much time on your RC. Why you can't spend 6 or 7 minutes?
Hmm.
Until then, I didn't even realize that I was spending six.
Yeah.
I was because my accuracy was good enough in RC. I was thinking I'm doing well, but the fact that I had to cut down on that time, no,
Hmm.
it didn't occur to me. And the reason it was happening was because I was writing everything. I was again focusing on the details and trying to understand the details, and then put a note of them. And when you
Hmm.
told me that day that you are spending too much time on RCs, you need to cut them down and maintain the accuracy. That's when I figured I'm making all these notes, but I'm not referring to them a lot when I'm actually answering the question. I'm still
Hmm.
going back to the passage. That day I decided, okay, now I need to practice not taking as many notes. So then I stuck to only one line per para.
Got it.
And that's how my timing improved in RC. So
Got it.
really thanks to you. There's no other way I could have actually done RC.
That's such a really cool point also, and I want to steer away the discussion now from the concepts and the course to something we like to call now Scholaranium 2.0, and you were one of the first users that really got a taste of that platform and the power of it. Take me through a few of the features that kind of worked for you and what really how data is helpful.
So it is very helpful. I like I was telling you, I joined Princeton, IMS, and e-GMAT.
Hmm.
e-GMAT is the only platform where I could actually see data. I'm not. If you want, I can show you my screen for other platform. I'm pretty sure you guys already know about it.
Hmm.
But Scholaranium is the only place where I could see in what areas am I good at, in what areas am I seriously lacking, plus
Hmm.
not just getting questions right and wrong and the accuracy, but even timing.
Hmm.
And the fact that how do I compare to others? Because that was one of my concerns, that because in the end it's your percentile rank also that matters in e-GMAT,
True.
or not e-GMAT, in GMAT. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, where do I stand compared to others? in any given specific question. And that's where Scholaranium 2.0 really helped. I think we were also discussing as one of our feedback sessions when I was like,
Yeah.
can we please have that small widget where I can see all the more
Yeah.
detailed information? And that really helped. Plus the fact that you can customize quizzes, custom quizzes and whatnot, and then you can
Hmm.
select question types that you want to test yourself on. It really helped. Plus the fact that
I
uh,
think we can
you
show people also what you're talking about.
sure.
This is your account itself. You can see this, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Right.
yeah,
So
this
this is
specific graph,
exactly, yeah.
this is exactly what I'm talking. It really helped me. So there are questions when I struggle, when I don't struggle, but this really tells me where do I stand compared to others. So this is like a no filter kind of a feedback.
True.
There is no. It really tells me there are questions which I got wrong,
Hmm.
which I used to get wrong, and I used to end up in, let's say, choice C, 17%. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Where am I? Why am I ending up in that bucket and not the
But that's
72%
a very
bucket of those?
interesting data point also, right, Alok? So let's say you end up in this bucket, you know that you're almost there. You know that you're
So yes. So what happens is a lot of times, yeah, and I'm one of them. People, especially during the early part of their GMAT prep,
hmm,
at least I was like that. That
hmm,
I was telling my instructor at Princeton
hmm.
that I end up with two choices, and then I end up picking the wrong one.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen by chance. It is because of a lack of
of
concept.
course, yeah. There's
And
this one thing that
and
you're missing out on that the others catch on
yes,
to.
exactly. And this actually tells you, it used to tell me at least that, okay, I got to two. I
Hmm.
ended up picking the wrong one. And then obviously Shraddha and Stacy and all of these other people who have their videos, like, actually, video explanations also help me a lot. I mean, really, more than just reading the text, if a teacher is actually telling you, it makes you feel, it helps you understand how the teacher is thinking in her mind,
Hmm.
and that is what helped me a lot also, I would believe.
Got it.
Yeah,
So I think Scholar 2.0 has tons and tons of data, and obviously it's very helpful, like you mentioned, for all of the things that you mentioned before. The final thing that I kind of want to go to is Sigma X mocks, because
yeah,
I think if there's so many mocks out there, it's very important to understand which ones to use, how to use them frugally and in the right fashion. What are your thoughts on the Sigma X mocks versus you've pretty much taken everything out there? I know that.
yes,
What
yes.
is your just talk a little bit about Sigma X mocks. Forget the others. That's not important.
I would talk about the accuracy, uh, the scoring accuracy. My Sigma mock score were very accurate. I mean,
They were
if you
spot
compare
on.
them to,
Yeah.
they were exact. They were exact. In fact, in one of the Sigma mock, I ended up with a V41, and I told you that I screwed up in quant, and you looked at, you evaluated my Sigma X mock,
Hmm.
and then you were like, I see that towards the end you were rushing and probably taking guesses, and you were like, even though here you got for 41, but if this is how you will take it, you are really a V38.
Yeah.
And that is what is happening in my actual test. So
Hmm.
I was like, shit, how do I prove it wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have seen that, but it is what it is. Data never lies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's, I think, what I want to show, and it's something that I kind of thought about as well, is I want to show everyone the way you did the account, Alok. So I'm
hmm,
going to show you this is your SC course,
hmm,
99% obviously done. Look at these scores. I mean, this is true diligence. This is the epitome of true diligence here. And it's not just for SC, that's the thing. It's for CR as well, where it's literally you've gone through this time and time over and scored
yeah,
100%. But it's what you did after that as well. So if I go to Scholaranium over here, let's pin this and let's look at your attempts right from the get go. We tell students to take cementing quizzes and stuff like that, and then they don't believe us and say, what is cementing? And why am I doing it?
yeah, yeah,
But that's what you did, right? Right from the get go, you took the exact number of cementing quizzes, you replayed them, strategically reviewed them to replay them
yeah,
essentially. And then you went on to do these quick test readiness quizzes, and then you took these full length quizzes as well, the full blown test readiness quizzes too, as discussed with a lot
right,
of rigor. And frankly, this there's nothing more perfect than this, and you did it very diligently throughout, the quant course as well. So if I were to show people how you managed to get the score of Q50 on quant, you took these really, really good test readiness quizzes towards the end that pretty much told you if you're sitting at a 96% with a 28 question quiz, you're going to get a Q50. That's data for you. And obviously you took all the mocks, and yet you did everything the right way. That's essentially that I'm pretty much pointing out here. And doing things the right way at some point, even though it's not immediate success, it leads you to success. If you were to give advice to anybody about improving their verbal score, what would be that one liner or two liner that you would tell them?
If anyone is struggling with verbal, I would ask them to first join e-GMAT and then get in touch with a mentor.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm not even kidding. Because I don't think so. Like, I join everything under the sun that I can.
Hmm.
Given my schedule and my time,
Hmm.
I've done everything I could.
And you
A
were
lot
part
of
of the
them,
LMP program also, right? So
yes,
with
thanks
me,
to you.
yeah, you
Yes,
you were reading reviews and you like, what is this LMP thing? And I'm like,
yes.
dude, you are in it. Why don't
Yeah,
you?
I didn't even know until then. that that's what it is called. So I would tell them join e-GMAT. My entire attempt history that you just went over,
Hmm.
and you're saying I did well. The reason I did it well was because of you, honestly, because you actually told me how to study and not just what to study. So people can buy their online access to the course and they
Hmm.
can solve the questions and all. But to be very honest, and I wrote this in my GMAT Club feedback also, I think
Yeah.
you guys are charging way less than you actually should.
I'm going to say this to Rajat. I keep telling
Rajat
him all
might
the
be happy.
time.
Yeah, yeah, he might be happy. I would be willing to pay more, honestly,
Hmm.
because I've paid a lot of money to others
Hmm.
without getting as much in return. And I would say just what DJ, you yourself provide, or
Hmm.
mentors like you on eGMAT,
Hmm.
the value that you guys provide, I'm telling you, without you, there is no way I could have come anywhere close to even a 700. I'm being very honest. Even though I scored a 700 14 years or some 12 years back,
Hmm.
there's no way I could have scored it again because uh, all of this that do this in this stage. In fact, the fact that you told me that initially when you took a look at my first Sigma X mock
Yeah.
and you gave me the first plan, you were like, first month just study verbal. There's
Hmm.
no other thing you need to do. Finish SC modules, then take cementing, and then only we'll move on to CR and whatnot.
Yeah.
Without that, I wouldn't have done it myself.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have even known that
I
this is
agree.
how I need to prepare.
I
Plus,
agree.
my entire error log thing, initially, I was writing in a notebook,
I told you
but
make an Excel. Make an
you
Excel,
were like,
please.
make an Excel. And initially, I was hesitant. I was like, okay, why, how will it help? Why is he pushing me? I'm already making notes. But the thing with error log is, when you actually one day when I screwed up in some quiz or something, I figured,
Hmm.
okay, I need to have an error log.
Hmm.
So then I pivoted to error log instead of my notebook notes taking,
Hmm.
and then I did it the right way, at least what I think was the right way, where
Hmm.
I actually was writing every. I was writing. I had a row for every single question, whether it was right or wrong. If I
Hmm.
thought I had taken a guess or I took way too long,
Hmm.
there was a row explaining exactly where I went wrong, how I went wrong, and what is the right way, and
Hmm.
any notes or those kind of things. And I used to revise it a lot. I
Hmm.
think that really helped me in SC, and actually not just SC. It helped me in SC, RC, CR also.
Got it.
And the fact that that whole pre-thinking approach, even though I struggle coming up with uh, some option in my mind, but the
Hmm.
pre-thinking actually helps you. A lot of these other classes, they tell you to find patterns in
Hmm.
CR,
Yeah, it's
and
very
I'm telling
difficult.
you,
And patterns never
the
repeat, right?
pro
That's the thing.
and the problem is in the middle of the test when you're actually under time constraint to
True.
identify the pattern. At least it takes a toll on me, and that's
Yeah.
why I still feel I struggle because I started off with the wrong approach, and somehow it's ingrained into me in my head,
Hmm.
and I'm still struggling to get out of it because I'm always when I struggle on a CR passage, I'm like, okay, what pattern, and then I look at the clock and like I'm already 2 minutes down, and now I have to make a quick
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, but this has been there forever, and I think you'd obviously get better at it only. But yeah, I mean, let me conclude this by saying that whatever we do, whatever me or the other mentors do, is because it's a strong product. I have loads, and I mean, I have tons of data with Skull. I can literally just go to any one of your quizzes, sneak around, and know exactly what you're up to, and that's a very cool thing to have, right? I mean, that's a very
Yeah,
powerful weapon. And then when you have something as reliable as a sigma x mock, I don't have any qualms in analyzing it and telling a person that you will not do well on the test. I can say it
yeah,
with a lot
yeah.
of confidence, and that takes some sort of resilience. So yeah, I mean, it's the entire course, all in all, that really kind of gets to the entire platform being awesome. So again, thank you so much again, and I really appreciate you coming on for the success story, and I wish you luck.
Thanks, BJ. This was one of my goals of GMAT prep
I
to
know.
end up in one of these
To
videos.
to end up in one of these. I mean, you're there now, so may as well. Cool. So thank you so much again, and take care.
You too.